Everybody, thanks for watching. And just a quick reminder that the next 5 books in the Biblical Bible series is now available, which will be 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, and Nehemiah. So make sure you check those out. Also, make sure you take advantage of the lifetime membership as well as the never pay again sale. This will end tomorrow. It will not be offered again. Next month will be the end of the free digital downloads for everybody who got it for 2019. Now, I posted yesterday on Instagram about the book and about me winning the case. This is the main reason why the book was being held back, is because, well, I couldn't release the entire book, and I was trying to really hold out as long as possible before we started printing the books and sending them out to wait for the approval. And at first it looked like, it wasn't going to happen, and I kind of figured it wouldn't happen, which is why I structured the book and had it ready to go, because I didn't think they would release the rest of the book. But it turns out they did. They tried to hold the whole process another 2 years. It has already been, over a year that they've been holding the process back. But it was, ruled in my favor that I can release the entire book, which before the book was 388 pages. Now it's 609 pages. The complete book is still 18 chapters. It's just the chapters will be longer because I had to take out stuff from a lot of the chapters. This, as you'll see when you get the book, is really important. Now, I got emails from people once I put it on Instagram about people who already received books and people who have books coming. What's going to happen. So what's going to happen is a lot of you guys books are shipped out already, so you guys will probably receive the 388. We will receive the 388 page book, but you will also get the full book. So once you get that book, probably soon after, probably another week or so, you will receive the full book. The publisher and the printing company was actually really good as far as giving me a good deal on the books, and the whole process is going to be a lot smoother. So, since we have to basically, restructure this book and reprint it out, what's going to happen is a lot of you guys will get some of those books, but since we have to do this, I have to push back the time, but it won't be too long, of course. So as I said, anybody not receiving the book by the 12th will receive a refund for the book, as well as the book itself. So I'm going to push that date back into the 21st because we have to have more time to make these books up. Unless you don't want the actual full book, you only want the original book, make sure you email me and I will make sure I send you out that book. Anybody who wants to wait for the full book, you'll get it before the 21st. But keep in mind, some of you will receive the 388 page book, but remember, that's not you will get another book. You will get the full copy of the book as well, so don't freak out if you don't have the full copy. I had a bunch of people thinking I was trying to get over by putting out a different book that's full, and they only paid for like a partial book. Legally, I couldn't even speak on this, and legally I couldn't put the book out because of what was going on with the process, which is why I haven't put out any videos or anything in a minute, because there's a lot that's going on with the process. It's a lot that this stuff ties up into, and YouTube is definitely brought up in the whole thing. And YouTube has this unique, which they just updated their copyright and they updated their policy, but they have this really unique situation going on with content, and it's allowing a lot of companies and corporations to come after content creators and people that put stuff on YouTube, which is why I'm real careful about what I put up now. But this process has been long, it has been crazy, and it has held me back for a long time, but it's over. And this information, trust me, they want released. It has to be put out, and it's good. It's a lot, and this book is mind-boggling. I put a lot of work into this thing, and I coded it well. It's esoteric, but it's going to be probably one of the most easiest complicated books you probably ever read, to say the least, because just how I put my videos, I made it really easy for you to understand. I didn't really bombard you with a bunch of jargon. Everything is broken down. Any word that I think is something you have to Google, I made sure I provided the definition as I'm doing the videos. It's a real easy book that you can just go right through, and it's long and it's a lot of information, and keep in mind that a lot of people don't watch the videos or don't have a clue about a lot of the stuff we talk about. So I kept that in mind with the book. So a lot of the stuff some of you guys will know, but a lot of people will not. And a lot of the stuff you guys will not know, I have never talk about. And it's a lot of deep information in that book, but it's definitely going to be worth the wait. So anybody not receiving the book by the 21st will definitely receive a full refund, as well as the book or books. And if you do have the book, if you get the book before that, then keep in mind, another one will come. But to the video, this is there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of stuff that's been happening, and a lot of people don't understand what's been taking place. Even though I put out a lot of videos on this, there's a lot of information that a lot of people don't understand because you don't have time to look it up. And a lot of people just don't get why things are the way that it is, or why our mentality is this way towards these trends. So now I also posted a video about the changing over of the frequencies from 432 to 440. You guys probably know about this already, but it's a lot deeper than people really understand when you pay attention. Now, in 1885, the Italian government basically, changed over the frequency of music, and they basically made everybody retune their instruments to 440 hertz from the 432 hertz, which is like what classical music is playing at, and which all of the composers back then was playing at 432 hertz. Now, by 1917, you have the American Federation of Musicians basically adopt, the 440 hertz frequency. And by 1950, I believe, everybody in the world basically came together and changed over to the 440 hertz frequency. Now, it's big because the 432 hertz frequency is more natural to, the universe, to us, to the planet. It's the frequency that we have been vibrating on since, man has came and started doing abominations against nature. But it says here, a lot has been written on the A432 hertz tuning preference that is mathematically consistent with the Fibonacci series of numbers and therefore universal design. Among the advocates of A432 hertz standard tuning is musician and researcher Brian T. Collins, who launched a website dedicated to posting articles supportive to this growing musical metaphysical movement for recovering optimal spirituality through music therapy. Collins wrote, "The current tuning of music based on A440 hertz does not harmonize on any level that corresponds to cosmic movement, rhythm, or natural vibration. Mozart and Verdi both based their music on natural vibration. The A432 was nicknamed the Verdi tuning. Most Western music, including popular New Age music, is still tuned at unnatural A440 hertz. The difference between A440 hertz and A432 is only 8 vibrations per second, but it is a perceptible difference in the human consciousness experience." So now, a lot of people are not going to get this, and it's one of the things when you are studying the effects of music and how it affects us. A lot of people, we experience things differently. So when a person tells you something is supposed to feel a certain way and you don't feel it, when you experience it, we usually brush it off. A lot of people just write it off as theory. But you got to understand, our bodies is almost 80% water. It's what science calls structured water, as a matter of fact. Then you have electrogenetics, which basically calls it a liquid crystal or a liquid crystal superconductor. So now in electrogenetics, they basically already, determined that the way our cells and tissue communicates with each other is via the liquid crystal proteoglycan matrix or proteoglycan matrix. And this matrix shows, basically when I talked about in meditation 1 about how you have, consciousness and energy. And we know that energy travels throughout the body and allows us to move. Before you move, a thought occurs, energy is produced, and then that energy travels down the spine to corresponding nerves and veins. But it's this liquid that helps it travel. This is why it's called a liquid crystal superconductor. We know if you put electricity in water, it's going to travel faster. This liquid is within us all, and it allows the electricity or the energy to travel throughout our body. So we understand this. So when you think about that water, and they say your body's 70% water, it is this liquid, the structured water that science is talking about. So what two things do you have here? You have liquid and you have electricity. You have liquid, you have vibration and energy happening. So we're talking about energy that's traveling through your body at a certain frequency or a certain rate. Changing a frequency, which we know frequency can change water. We have seen this. It's a lot of experiments out there that show you this, how you change the hertz, or you change the frequency, or you push your frequency towards a stream of water, and it will change the water. It's an amazing thing to see. And they call it harmonics when they do it with the sand. And you can see how sound can actually change the structure of sand. It can do the same thing for water. So when you understand the difference in changing the frequency or the hertz of a sound, it's affecting that liquid structure, that structured water within your body. And if that structured water is being used, and it's what's the superconductor for moving the energy throughout your body, if it's changed in any way, then it's basically changing you. And it's one of those things to where I told you guys before, you are not you. You think you are you, but you are not. You are what they made you to be. And if you've been watching my videos, I put out about the double slit experiment that Einstein and a bunch of Niels Bohr and a bunch of scientists put out, that basically showed that consciousness collapses the wave function. So when they did the experiment with the photons, and you had it come into the slits as straight photons, and that was observed by conscious thought. But when you don't observe it, when you don't look, it comes out in waves. So the experiment showed that consciousness collapsed the wave form, the wave structure, and it's kind of deceiving you into seeing one thing, but when you're not looking, it's something else that's there. You understand? So for the people who may be asking, how is it that some people are not affected by this? It's because they are conscious of it. And being conscious of something or knowing something, there's two different things. Being conscious and aware of something and knowing that it exists is two separate things. You can know a car is coming and still get hit by it. You can know, cars is in the street. It's a street. Cars go up and down it. You understand? So you won't go out there all not paying attention, but people do, and they get hit. So we understand about smoking. People know smoking kills you. They still smoke. People know that the food you eat is not really good for you, and they still eat it, and we take risk, they call it, and we deal with certain things. But what if you were being controlled and your energy was being tampered with to make you make these decisions that you believe is you, and you think, I messed up. And a lot of times we mess up and we don't understand why we did a certain thing. And I'm not trying to have you guys have a scapegoat or not accept responsibility for your actions, but it's certain things you need to understand about what's going on with you and what they're doing to us. So when you understand that, they can emit certain frequencies or music at certain hertz to mess with you, then you understand also how they can heal. We have healing through water, we have healing through actual music. It says here, real quick, it says 432 hertz music is known for its potent healing effect on the body and mind. 432 hertz music works to balance both hemispheres of the brain, forcing them to work in harmony. Unfortunately, most people use one hemisphere more than the other, creating an imbalance in their physiology and psychology. So now understand, the government owns the music industry. Whether you understand it or not, they own the music industry. Now, to put it a better way, the international bankers who own the Fed Bank, who own these corporations, own the music industry, and they are the same people that's controlling the government system. So this goes back to 1919, World War I. A lot of you guys know about this already, where you had the Navy get with GE, General Electric, to basically create an American-owned music company or music corporation. And they did that. And you had the creation of RCA Records, which a lot of you guys know about this. And what they basically did was the government took control of the radio frequencies and the radio stations and the companies during the wartime. Now, I'm going to read this real quick. It says, RCA originated as a reorganization of the Marconi Wireless Telegraph Company of America, commonly called American Marconi. In 1897, the Wireless Telegraph and Signal Company Limited was founded in London to promote the radio, then known as wireless telegraph. Inventions of Guglielmo Marconi. As part of worldwide expansion in 1899, American Marconi was organized as a subsidiary company holding the rights to use the Marconi patents in the United States and Cuba, which Marconi is an Italian inventor, and he created this whole thing. In 1912, it took over the assets of the bankrupt United Wireless Telegraph Company, and from that point forward, it had been the dominant radio communication company in the United States. This is RCA. With the entry of the United States into World War I in April 1917, the government took over most civilian radio stations to use them for the war effort, although the overall U.S. government plan was to restore civilian ownership of the seized radio stations once the war ended. Many Navy officials hoped to retain a monopoly on radio communications even after the war. Defying instructions to the contrary, the Navy began purchasing large numbers of stations outright. With the conclusion of the conflict, Congress turned down the Navy's effort to have peacetime control of the radio industry and instructed the Navy to make plans to return the commercial stations it controlled, including the ones it had improperly purchased, to the original owners. Due to national security considerations, and this is how they got away with it, the Navy was particularly concerned about returning the high-power international stations to American Marconi, since a majority of its stocks was in foreign hands, and the British already largely controlled the international overseas cables. This concern was increased by the announcement in late 1918 of the formation of the Pan American Wireless Telegraph and Telephone Company, a joint venture between American Marconi and the Federal Telegraph Company, with plans to set up service between the United States and South America. So understand, we know the government at one point had control of all of the music industry, and they had to supposedly return it back to the people. But who was these people that they returned it to? Who was the people that owned the labels in the first place? And remember, you had a lot of outside businessmen, international businessmen, that had stake in these record labels. So what they eventually would do is they would buy them all up. Even though we know that RCA became independent in 1932, and there's supposedly some kind of settlement deal between them and the government, it doesn't matter if the people who are buying RCA and buying and owning these record labels is a part of this government system. It's a part of the international bankers that own the Federal Reserve Bank, and that's running everything. So we know with RCA, you have they own AT&T. General Electric owns AT&T. I believe Comcast bought them out now, but it's the same people. It's the same stuff. They're confusing you by, passing stuff along with the same group, you might as well say. The big six, they buying each other up and doing this and that, but it's the same people that's been owning everything we know as far as entertainment. So these record labels, Sony, Disney, Time Warner, so on and so forth, are all a part of this group that's been buying up the labels. They bought out basically every major independent label from back in the day, and now you have all the majors that's left now that's owned by them. But they're putting this stuff out there as if the government basically lost control over the labels, but they have always had control over the labels. They still own them. It's the same people that own these labels that's in power, that's running your government, that's printing your money. So it hasn't been a change. It's just been what they put out to confuse us as to who's actually in control of our music, and it's them. So understand the point of this in controlling music and changing the frequency, changing the hertz. It's mind control. Just that simple. It's programming you, and they understand that. That's the whole point of changing the frequency over and taking it from out of something that's natural to something that is controlling you, something that can make you think you are you when you are not. So this is stuff that has been brought up. A lot of people have put out books and a lot of articles on this. And I'm going to read one here. It's called Musical Cult Control, the Rockefeller Foundation's War on Consciousness Through the Imposition of A 440 Hz Standard Tuning. It says, understanding and treating modern psychopathology, social aggression, political corruption, genetic dysfunction, and cross-cultural degeneration of traditional values, risking life on Earth. This history concerns A 440 Hz. This is what it's talking about when it's saying all this stuff. Standard tuning. And the Rockefeller Foundation's military commercialization of music, the monopolization of the music industry, features this imposed frequency that is herding populations into greater aggression, psychosocial agitation, and emotional distress, predisposing people to physical illnesses and financial impositions, profiting the agencies, and companies engaged in the monopoly. Alternatively, the most natural, instinctively attractive 444 Hz, which we know about Jay-Z and 444, supposedly to Beyonce for cheating, that's the love frequency 444, or C5528, talked about this before in DVDs as well. Frequency that is most vividly displayed botanically has been suppressed. That is, the good vibrations that the plant kingdom obviously broadcasts in its greenish yellow display, remedial to emotional distress, social aggression, and more, has been musically censored. Thus, a musical revolution is needed to advance world health and peace, and has already begun with musicians retuning their instruments to perform optimally, impact audiences beneficially, and restore integrity to the performing arts and sciences. Music makers are thus urged to communicate and debate these facts, condemn the militarization of music that has been secretly administered, and retune instruments and voices to frequencies most sustaining and healing. So understand basically what it's saying is how, what I said before, the retuning of this music has been designed to control emotions, to control thoughts, and to have people basically trapped within their own consciousness. That meaning, what I said before, you believing you are you when you are not. If consciously you believe you are doing something and something is your decision and it's not, I mean, we can call that mind control, we can call that magic, you can call it whatever you want, but you believe something is you. A lot of times you are controlled. This has happened to a lot of people where you are acting off a lie. And then when you realize that you done said so much, you done did so much, you done caused so much pain and trouble, you destroyed stuff, you bust out windows, whatever you did, and then you realize it was all a lie. That, what you was angry about wasn't even true, and you done made an ass of yourself, and you was controlled by that lie. Your actions, was because of something that you thought was true and real, and your feelings felt right and true. That was you, but really that's not what you wanted to do. That's not who you are. You was reacting off of something that you should have never been told in the first place. And it's the same thing. It's your consciousness being turned against you and making you do things that you think is you when it's not. And because it's like, I'm me, you can't tell me I'm not me. You believe what you are doing is you. And that goes back to what I was saying before about hip-hop music and how our culture, everything that you are doing, the way you walk, the way you talk, what you wear, and so on and so forth, has been programmed for you to do so. And you just look at the innocence of it all and not understanding how powerful that is for somebody to control the way you walk, think, speak, your actions, your daily life, this culture that we call hip-hop that's controlling our community. So they had to test this whole thing. And we all remember, if you study pop culture, study music, and you go back and look, there was the mass hysteria craze. And that was the goal of this whole 440 hertz frequency, to cause mass hysteria so they can see if it worked. And they tested it out on basically their own people. So when you had the Beatles craze, that was mass hysteria. You had girls going crazy and people pulling their hair out and crying and fainting because of mass hysteria, because the music was put to 440 hertz. It's the same thing with Elvis. The frequency in the music was put out there to basically cause arousal, to cause, stimulation and to cause people to go into mass hysteria, which we have seen this a whole bunch of times. We've seen girls lose their mind over the sight of a person. It's the same stuff that's being played out today. Now, another article. On August 31st, 1957, hysterical crowds trampled people, including Canadian reporter John Kirkwood, who wrote, "It was like watching a demented army swarm down the hillside to do battle in the plain. When those frenzied teenagers stormed the field, Elvis and his music played a small part in the dizzy circus. The big show was provided by Vancouver teenagers transformed into writhing, frenzied idiots of delight by the savage jungle beat music. A hard, bitter core of teenage troublemakers turned Elvis Presley's one-night stand at the Empire Stadium into the most disgusting exhibition of mass hysteria and lunacy this city has ever witnessed." Colonel Parker also enjoyed reading the accounts of the riot the next day, and he was Elvis's manager. It says here, it turns out that Colonel Tom Parker, or Colonel Tom Parker, whatever you want to call him, Elvis's manager, was suspect for illegally joining the U.S. Army illegally as a European immigrant. He broke his co-management contract with Hank Snow for exclusive control over Elvis's career, developed Presley's contract with RCA, think about that, and worked under the alias of Colonel Tom Parker, a name that he secretly stole from his Army base commander, Captain Tom Parker. His real name was Andreas Cornelius, or Andres, whatever you want to call it. Andres Van Kujak, however you pronounce that. Thus, the Empire Stadium riot, pleasing to Parker, was most likely a successful U.S. military RCA experiment to induce mass hysteria, especially since RCA, according to Tobias, was a major participant in the Rockefeller Foundation funded research to musically produce this precise audience impact. So what is it telling you? It's telling you straight up what they did. They took control of music, as I said before. And it's not a coincidence what happened with the music industry and how we ended up with hip hop and everything that entails. They already did the experiments on how this frequency works. And they seen that it worked on, teenagers. It worked on people. And when you have even more deeply spiritual people such as us, black folks, who take music, to the soul, like music makes people cry. It's an emotional thing. And when you have people that feels spiritually, because music is a spiritual thing, believe it or not, so deeply as we do, and you turn that music against them, we accept it as spirituality. We accept it as super emotional, energetic stuff that we rely on, that we find passionate. People love their music. You listen to it every night, listen to it every day, and it's something that's just a part of our life for people who really love music. And they took that and they corrupted it, which is what they do. So it's telling you here that the experiments was done, and these people took control of music. Now, many people will be confused about it because you see all these different names, as I said before, that own these record labels, but really it goes back to the same people that's running the country, that's running the government. It's the same people. So the point of all this, the whole reason why I brought this out, is for you to look at the events that has been taking place over the few decades, especially lately with the whole Popeye's chicken sandwich thing. You need to understand, again, they play commercials with music in the background to influence you. They're played at certain frequencies, at the 440 hertz, to control you, to make you want and seek after the product. Now you consciously, when you watch the commercial, I'm not buying that. We all say it. Well, it ain't influencing me. And then later on you'll find yourself, let me go get it. Because it happened to many of you who went out and got that damn chicken sandwich. You probably said to yourself, I'm not getting that. I'm not going to touch that. Oh, well, wait a minute. The Popeyes line is super short. Let me go see what's going on. Or let me just go see what's up with this chicken sandwich. And a lot of you people don't even understand. It's not even chicken. It's genetically modified. It's a freaking clone chicken. Like the meat is not even something you should be probably eating. Like anything that's going to cause somebody to be stabbed to death over, I don't want no parts of it. I don't want no parts of Popeyes, no way. Burger King owns Popeyes. Burger King been killing people just like McDonald's. And to have it exclusively, put to black people is crazy. Which is one of the reasons why I was hoping, like, damn, like, we need to not buy this chicken sandwich. We need to leave it alone. Because they're trying to make it exclusive to us. And when they do that, that's telling you it's not good. That's telling you that there's probably something in that chicken sandwich that you shouldn't have. And it's the same thing with music. You eat the sandwich, I feel fine, I feel great, not knowing the lasting effects. If a person is going to Popeyes and getting chicken or willing to stand in line for a chicken sandwich, this is probably a person that is easily controlled. This is probably a person that is not really up on their health and is going to eat or put into their bodies and minds stuff that's going to be harmful to them. And the overall impact, the lasting impact of that is going to lead to their death or, lead to their being controlled to do something else stupid. So what's in that sandwich mixed with something you could be eating later on down the line could be building up in your body and lead to a heart attack a few years from now. Who knows? But make the connection. We have mass hysteria with the chicken sandwich. You have mass hysteria with these musicians. And we have mass hysteria with these trends. It's the same stuff. None is different from the other. It's just the chicken sandwich one is just more, stupid. But I don't see it being any more stupider than the ice bucket challenge and all those other trends that people don to just fit in or to follow the trend. So it's controlling people. And usually when we see stuff like this, it means they're trying to keep our attention away from something else that's happening. And it means you got to pay attention and look deeper at what's going on, because America's attention right now is on damn chicken sandwiches. And we've seen videos, it's not just black people, it's white people fighting. You got white people calling people niggers, getting beat up outside over chicken sandwiches. And it's crazy. It's mass hysteria. It's one of the reasons why, I put out this type of information. But, I've received a lot of emails and people wanting comments about the whole situation and people asking my input on the whole thing. And it's like, if you're conscious, you get this stuff. None of this stuff should be shocking to you. You need to understand you shouldn't be surprised by nothing that these people do. They're trying to kill you, plain and simple. They're trying to control you. They're not going to do anything beneficial to you. And it's crazy because it's like black people sitting around waiting for it to happen, for something to just change or something to happen, or, people not realizing that they're going to work until they're old and they're going to die. Plain and simple. That's going to be your story. That's going to be how you go out. You're going to work. You're going to get too old. By the time you realize, damn, I should have did something else, it's going to be too late. And you're going to end up sick with diseases, and you're going to fucking die in your house or die in the hospital, broke and poor, because you chose the trends over consciousness, because you chose to follow what's cool and what's popular over waking the fuck up and realizing that you're stupid. Plain and simple. You're a fucking idiot. Look in the mirror. That's you. The people who's following these trends. If you're not following these trends, we're not talking to you. But that's what's going to happen to the majority of black people. And they understand this. They're weeding out the weak-minded. They only want the intelligent people that has the consciousness, the mind to move past the stuff and to move forward and defeat all the trends. And the reason for that is, what I talk about in a lot of videos. But if we're not, many black people, and if you're going to mix in, if you have to mix in with black people, you want the best and brightest. Those you can easily control, that is easily manipulated, you want them out of here. And that's what's happening to a lot of people. And the crazy thing is, it's not them. It's not people's own decisions, yet they believe it is. So, we see this with Christianity all the time. Like, you'll see a celebrity, rapper or somebody, post something on Instagram, something about faith or something about Jesus and praising God or something like that. And in the comment section, you'll see a bunch of people saying amen, or I needed to hear that. And it's clear as day that these people don't read the Bible, not understanding that this person that's talking about God and everything like that is continually sinning. His whole, page is dedicated to sin and going against what the Bible says you should not be dealing with. And how are you a Christian following this person? And clear as day, this person is not a Christian. But when they say something spiritual, they say something about God, it's Amen. And that's something that's mental right there. And I was coming out of, if you're on the West Coast, I don't know if they have Albertsons on the East Coast, but they have Albertsons over here on the West Coast. Ran in there real quick. Grab some paper towels, some other stuff. I'll go. But coming out, a lady come up to me. Thank you, Jesus, Lord, praise God, and all this stuff. And I said, I don't believe in Jesus. And she's like, you don't believe in Jesus? Oh, it's okay. She asked me for some money, of course. She thought the God stuff was going to get her some money. And I had no cash. So she was like, it's okay that you don't believe in God, and I think people should be allowed to believe what they want to believe, but let me ask you a question. Why you don't believe in God? You don't believe in Jesus? I said, there's no proof for him. I said, we have been, our people, she's black, I was like, our people have been praying to Jesus for hundreds of years. What has he done for you? What has he done for you? And this woman smelled horrible. And it's like, you out here, got to be in your 50s, 60s, smelling like that, and you praising Jesus like where is he? Where has he been in your life? Look where you are, And had a little mini debate back and forth, but she kept her faith. She, I'm not going to renounce my Jesus, and Jesus loved me, and this and that. Okay. And this is the mental illness that, religion puts in people, and it's control. And it's in many different forms, whether it be music or TV or just the programming that we have passed down to each other genetically, with this religion. So my point in this and putting this out is to get you guys to understand one. When you see people doing this stuff and you take your phones and you point at them as looking stupid, and we all been over social media talking shit, and everybody been putting out videos about how dumb these people is. You need to understand one, don't beat your people up. Not too bad. Understand a lot of people are mentally weak. They are controlled easily, and it's not something to be super ashamed of. It's just they're not conscious, and it is what it is. It's the same thing about, homeless people. When I see homeless black people, the reason why I'm quick, if I got cash to give them money, we've been through so much. You just never know. We got to help our own people out because we've been put through the ringer, and we messed up because we just don't know. And at the same time, we're also being controlled, and our thoughts are not our own. Our actions are not our own. And a lot of people, in hindsight, sitting in them prison cells or sitting in poverty or whatever, thinking like, why did I do that? Like, what the fuck was wrong with me? What did I do? And when you really dwell on it and think about it, like, what the hell would push me to pull that trigger or to do this or make this decision? And a lot of them will never come to the conclusion that it was the music. They will never come to the conclusion that it was not really them, and that music has influenced them to destroy themselves. And it's still happening today. And, we see it with music. We see people I see it all the time. I know people that's in their 40s still trying to, have a rap career. Late 30s still trying to have a rap career. Trying to get people to buy their mixtape and so on and so forth because they believe they still got it. They believe they can have a lucrative music career in their 30s and 40s. And a lot of times it's because they believe they have no other way. It's the only shot they have to be somebody and be, wealthy. And really they want to get in that position so they can just, shit on y'all and tease y'all. So it's crazy. So a lot of these rappers talking about keeping it real, and they work for the government. It's just that simple. They work for the CIA. They are agents, every single one of them. And y'all glorifying these people and big upping them. And, they're destroying you, as I always talk about. And you have a lot of the, comedians on social media making little videos about the chicken sandwich. A lot of people, it's a joke to a lot of people. This is our reality. This is what we do. What we doing now. We find entertainment in our own destruction, as I always say. But we are controlled. They are controlling you. And one of the reasons why I push for knowledge and education is so you can have the right consciousness to defeat a lot of the stuff that's going to be your downfall. A lot of people are not going to make it. A lot of people are not going to end up where they want to be. They will never realize their dream because they don't have the mental consciousness, the capacity to do so, or to even to wake up from the control. And it's a sad thing, but the more knowledge you put in your brain, the more you realize, one, how fucked up shit is, but two, how you start breaking stuff down and how you start seeing, the matrix, the code, the pattern, and you start seeing what's going on here. And stuff will just jump out at you more and more. And, it's not no different. This chicken sandwich craze from music crazes, from seeing people faint when they see Michael Jackson and these celebrities and screaming and so on and so forth. It's control. It's mental manipulation, and they can turn it up if they want to. They can make it even stronger, but it has to be subtle, and it's very subtle. And this is choice. It's one of the ways you can influence choice, by putting stuff out there and persuading influences. Remember, this is the power of Satan, influencing you a little bit, and it's enough to garner favor with your consciousness, and that's basically speaking to what you want anyway. Chicken sandwich look good, it looks tasty, it's pleasing to the eye, I'm going to seek after it, so on and so forth. And then your own downfall. We do this with a lot of stuff. We make bad decisions based upon our greed, based upon what we want, selfishness, and we're not thinking about the outcome. You pull that trigger because you're selfish. You're not thinking about your life. I had a friend, I talked about this before, who got killed. He smacked this young boy left, came back with a gun, shot him 3 times, killed him. Now he's in prison for the rest of his life, sorry, because he couldn't take a smack. He had a long time to walk away and think about it and come back. And in that time frame, he still chose to come back with the gun in front of a bunch of people and kill this man who was so loved. And now, he's done. And it's like, what type of mentality did he have through that whole process that allowed him to come back and do what he did? What type of mentality does people have to get up and decide, or sit in line for a chicken sandwich? The lines of cars here in Vegas as well, the cars is like around the store for a chicken sandwich. What kind of consciousness is that? What's wrong with people to do such a thing? And people, we just laugh. That's what we do now. It's entertainment. We just laugh at all. I just wanted to try the sandwich like it's a joke. It's serious. But I'm going to give you guys a history and an understanding that the government controls your music. They are controlling your mind. They own television networks. The same people, same system. And you need to wake up. You need to understand what's taking place and educate yourself and be aware of what's coming. 2020, yeah. Something is coming. War, something. It's not a coincidence they took the show 2020 off. Remember that TV show 2020? Something I'm going to get into later and explain what's up with that whole thing and what 2020, the significance of it is. But not nothing super scary. They can't do nothing they can't do nothing super crazy because of and y'all old conspiracy theorists for that. The conspiracy theory consciousness that's out there, they have to tiptoe around it. So it's not going to be nothing super crazy. Even though like a mass shooting or a bombing or something like that would be super crazy, it's going to be something that affect those people. And believe it or not, they're chosen for a reason. Again, something I'll get into later. But again, pay attention to what you're getting yourself into. Leave these trends alone and stop following this bull crap. And again, take advantage of the sales. Again, the 21st will be the date. If you don't have your book by the 21st, that will be the date. The 12th, I won't be able to get all the books produced and put and shipped out to everybody. We got to do it in sections, but nobody will not have their book on the 21st. And all you people that pre-order, if any of you guys still wait, you will get your books first, of course. So that's going to be taken care of. And again, apologies for the long delay. It will be worth the wait. 600-page book. People complaining about the price. It's 609 pages. And it costs that amount because of what the book is. It's nothing like it. It just is what it is. And the price is actually going to go up. So I tell people to get it now because it's a limited copy, a limited production, I should say. And it's not that many copies we can print out. That's something I still have to abide by with the 5,000, which I'm trying to get that up, of course. But the book is going to sell out. It's going to sell out. So $100 is a fair price. And that's after tax. It's really only $89. After tax, it'll be about 100 or something. But yeah, you'll see when you get the book. It's definitely a really good book. It's over 45 pictures. That's really important to the book, and it's stuff that I really fought to get in the book. A lot of the pictures, I mean, they didn't want to let me have them. There's a site where you can go to get copyright free stuff and free pictures. But of course, when you're doing something like this, not many pictures of what we talk about exist for free, if you understand what I'm saying. But take advantage of the sales. Definitely check your emails for your tracking number and stuff like that. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I appreciate your patience and support. See you guys next video.